I'm with Mr. Pink, the legend, and I'm Andrew, Trippington the Imaginary Cat's personal handyman, and I've been sent here to interview the one and only Mr. Pink. How you doing, mate?
Fantastic.
You're not Pink today. Who is the man who isn't Mr. Pink?
That's the good question. The man who is not Mr. Pink, well, the man behind the pink, is Jovis. That's my name, Jovis. It's a nickname. My actual name is Joseph, but I go by Jovis. And yeah, I'm a performer, musician, artist, sculptor, writer. You name it, I do it. If it's something to do with creating stuff, I just make things, basically. That's it.
So you're an artist. Well, that's interesting. So I didn't know you were a musician. What music to make?
Yeah, I produce Psytrance music.
Oh, do you? Oh, wicked. I'd love to hear that. I'd love to hear it. Do you have a DJ name or anything like that?
No, I just go by Jovis. Sometimes I'm billed as Jovis AKA Mr Pink because way more people know Mr Pink than Jovis. So I definitely use that to my advantage. Yeah, I produced my own music. I actually was taught by Aja. I was really lucky. I spent a month up at his place in Switzerland. And I wasn't making music before, like chill out and down tempo, but he gave me the good stuff about how to make good psytrance. And so basically, in my act, I play live didgeridoo and live mouth harp when I play, because those are my instruments I also play. And yeah, it's quite a lively show. I tell people it's basically Pink without the pink. I mean, you get the same guy. I just don't have pink paint on because it makes it very messy. We have pink paint with all this equipment. So
the text and stuff. No, amazing. No, I'd actually love to hear that. And we should talk afterwards. And you can send me your tunes. Yeah, Andrew's one of my favourites as well. He's absolutely fucking wicked. Brilliant.
Definitely up there.
Oh, cool. So with the actual character, Mr. Pink, when you created him, does it represent something? What was the inspiration for Mr. Pink?
Well, I'll tell you the background story. Basically, I think it was 1993 or 94. It was the first time I went to Burning Man. And I went to Burning Man. It was some people that were naked and they were painted. They weren't really doing performance, but they were just walking around naked painted. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. Next year I'm going to do that. So I bought a bunch of paint, and all my friends are like, come on, let's all get painted. Of course, everyone's like, yeah. But the day came to it, and basically no one wanted to do it. But because it was Burning Man, I'm like, okay, I don't care. And I got naked and I put purple paint on, and it was very uncomfortable because I was around all my friends. No one else was painted. And I was like, it was different because I was like Jovis painted. I wasn't really doing an act. And I was so uncomfortable because, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I got to get out of here. So I went out to the center camp where I didn't know anybody. And then I started to do a little bit of an act. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, this is more like a costume. And then it just developed from there. For many years, I actually did it naked. Last time was 2008 at Boom Festival, but security threw me in the lake, and they're a bit rough with me. So then I started. Yeah, it was not a good thing. But in one way, it was good because I don't like to be exclusive. And when I was naked, it's a bit exclusive, actually. It's just adult friendly, but I like it so no one can feel left out. So in a way, it's kind of good now. And yeah, that developed into a thing where basically when I'm putting on the pink, as I put on the paint, I just go into character. And it's, I'd say it's very transpersonal. I'm not even me anymore. I mean, literally, people will come up to me and be like, hey, Jovis, it'll take me a few seconds to remember that I'm Jovis, because when I'm Mr. Pink, I'm everybody. I really am. I'm just a mirror. And so it's very easy to do. All I do is I walk around, I wait for an invitation. So if someone looks me in the eyes, there's an invitation. If they don't look me in the eyes, I don't bother people. I let them choose. And when they look away, then it's finished. So it's very easy for me to know when not to do it. And then I'm mirroring them, basically. And as I mirror them, I really can feel them. And they feel that I'm feeling them. And then they feel like, oh, wow. Because I always put it this way. I see everyone, I believe, is a diamond when they're born. And all the other crap starts to come on after. But I see that diamond in everybody. So as Mr. Pink, it's very obvious. I can go right to that source, and people feel that. So they feel very relaxed. Also because I have a mask on, they feel safe. Yeah. And they open up fast. And then we just have a great interaction. Pardon the dog. Pardon the other dogs.
Say hello to your dog for me.
Hey, dog. Wait. It'll take a second. Okay, everything's good now. Well, train of thought. It's funny because at my house there's another dog that my sister's dog watching, and that dog barks a lot. So I'm like, oh, I'll go over to my mom's house because the dog doesn't bark. Wrong. The dog did bark. But anyway,
Dogs
this
are,
little thing. What's that?
it's kind of in the same way the people are playful as well. The dogs are even more playful than the person when they're a young child, isn't it? The dogs are just pure playfulness, aren't they? Do you ever do the
Yeah,
character?
and that's when you relate that to children because children too, they love Mr. Pink. And actually, I have to run away from kids because they think it's like the best toy they ever had, you know. And it's awesome because kids, you know, they have no filter and you can't pull anything over on them, and they just see immediately who's for real and who's not. So they see Mr. Pink and they're like, wow, you know, it's awesome. You definitely have to. Sometimes it's too much. Like literally, they think I'm their private plaything, and I just have to run to another location. But yeah.
That's amazing. That's something you could maybe do. Is start like a program, like a television program or something like that.
I actually thought about that. It's going to be. I'm not sure if I want to do it as Mr. Pink because the thing is, Mr. Pink doesn't talk. Because the reality of it is that when you speak, you're coming through your filter of your personality, words. You know, the logos. And when I start using words, I have to be Jovis to talk. So
Yeah.
Mr. Pink, I can't talk because so it's hard to do a show like that. I was thinking of doing something along the line Jovis TV, Jovis, you know, Uncle Jovis's kid show or something like that. We'll see. But as far as Mr. Pink, it's difficult because ultimately I don't. It's all from movement and from facial expression, and of course, you know that stuff. But there's no speaking because as soon as I start talking, then I'm Jovis and Pink Pink. You understand? Then it's different.
I do understand because obviously you have well, I mean ego in a good way. Like you have your character and charm, and that's your everyday person. And then the beauty with you and other performers is you can sort of play with the different charms and stuff like that. So it's definitely it's a great sort of it's a very humble thing as well because it means you don't hold on to yourself too strongly at the same time, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
So and obviously where you were saying you reflect people's you reflect the other people. You must have it must give you quite an insight to the people's kind of insecurities because obviously like if you're like teasing them, like some people don't want to be teased and stuff like that, so it must give you a kind of insight on like you must be able to read the people quite quickly as well.
You know, that's the thing is because of the invitation, everybody that looks in my eyes, they're inviting me. So therefore they're giving me permission to play with them. So I never really have a negative experience because I never interact with people that don't make eye contact first. Yeah. So they already want me there. But the funny thing is, it'll be like this sometimes. They'll look away, look away. Each time I come closer, you know, they want me to, and I allow them. That's the thing that makes it easy. They tell me when it starts. They tell me when it finishes. So when we're having a dance, at some point you see it. People start thinking, oh, someone's watching, or they start thinking of something, and they look away. That's it. I'm gone. That's it. It's done. Because at that point, they're starting to think about other than us being in a bubble together, and a universe exists for me and them. That's it. As soon as they go out of that bubble, the magic's kind of now like they're worried, not worried, but they're thinking about how do I appear, you know, anything like that. It shifts the moment, and I just leave. So there's never a point where I ever really have any kind of negative interactions. Even when I don't really make fun of people. I'm just like playing with them. They're giving me permission to do it, and they want it. I'm just like, okay, here you go. You know, you asked for it. And when it becomes too much, then they look away, and then I'm gone. So there's never any kind. And I know my boundaries really well, and I don't like to make people feel uncomfortable. I'm not there to scare people. I'm not there to freak them out. If they want to be freaked out, that's cool because they're inviting me to freak them out. But if they don't invite me, then it's no worries. I just like go on. And there's always someone who wants to play. So I just walk around and look for eye contact. That's it. And then I just go with it. Yeah.
Well, it's a brilliant thing. I must admit to you, like it's a brilliant thing, and that's kind of the whole thing about psytrance culture in general is kind of like an acceptance of life in a way, and experiencing those kind of like childlike, playful times. I've got another question for you. So, do you mind if I'm just going to get a drink quickly before?
What up?
Yeah, I've got I bought pink gin especially for this because we're interviewing Mr. Pink. Right, cool. So why the color pink? Like, because I was obviously I did a bit of homework on you, and I read that you sort of experimented with a few different colors. Why did you choose pink in the end?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. Yeah, I tried all different kinds of colors, but ultimately each color has its own energy. So I did red one time, a couple times. And people are quite aggressive when they have red. They're like devil, and they have an automatic assumption. And blue has its own kind of vibe. I felt like more subterranean or something like that. But pink is like there's a few benefits to pink. One is like to me it represents the color of self love. It's just love basically. And also, it's super high visibility. I mean, you can see me across the dance floor. It's like very bright pink. And in the end, yeah, through process of trial and error, I realized, nah, pink, pink's where it's at. And actually, sometimes I used to wear horns, and I did, nah, horns. Again, that kind of like puts another, I don't want to label it too much. And like, so in the end, pink seemed to be the great color because it really is. And it's a dichotomy because I'm like a big guy. I'm 6'4", I'm 195 pounds. I'm pretty muscular, and I'm in pink. So it automatically people like have a thought this way or that way, what that means. And, I'm just pushing the boundaries of like what people are expecting. And so right off the bat, you get that, like, oh, wait a minute, he must be this or he must be that. No, I must not be anything. It's like, I'll be whatever you want me to be. Again, I'm mirroring. But in the end, it's the pink just has a nice color because me as a big guy, it's just like, wait a minute, that doesn't quite fit. Even better. So in the end, 2011 was the year I decided, you know what, just pink. Pink is good. I'll just stay with pink. And then also, I mean, I didn't really look at it strategically, but in the end, it was a branding. It turned into a branding thing. And Mr. Pink's a great brand, rather than like the colored guy or the different colored painted guy. Like Mr. Pink. So I mean, that's how it turned out. I didn't really plan that, but in the end, I could look back and say, oh, all right, I just built my brand up over the years by sticking with one color. It was a bonus because it wasn't the main thing. And yeah, that's really what it's about. It's just the color of love. You can't go wrong with that.
Also, like you were saying about the silliness, like the muscular guy not taking himself seriously. I honestly think that's the best part, but especially about the psytrance music. I don't know how it sounds, because everyone sort of has a different experience. But for me, when I'm listening to the psytrance music, I feel like it's like tickling you and taking the Mickey out of kind of thing. What kind of feeling do you get when you're dancing to the psytrance music?
Psytrance is very special for me because like I love all kinds of music and I could definitely dance to different kinds of music, but it's the one music that can take me physically to a place that's I just can't get from another kind of music. And I mean, I even had this thing the last few times I was dancing. I was like, wow, it's like a code, and it's like a code for transdimensional travel because it makes your body move that you wouldn't move in another way because of the music. Yeah, it really touched me deeply, this music, to the point where for transformational dancing, it's unbeatable for me. I mean, it's the key, really. And yeah, it's that's why I make it too, because I feel the same thing. I make the music for the same reason. It's like it's transdimensional. It's really, I don't know. There's something to it that's, I don't know. I think we're just starting to understand, but it hits me sometimes. I'll be like, wow. I don't know if you ever saw this movie. Not the Animatrix, was the animated Matrix. And well, there was one thing where there was a guy that was a runner, for a sprinter, and sometimes he was pushing himself so physically that you start to see the Matrix that way. And I get this feeling when I'm dancing sometimes, like I don't believe my body's doing this, but the music is propelling me, and in a way I'm on it, and I couldn't do it without the music, and I start to things start to shift. I'm like, oh my God, this is the same thing. This is actually, it sounds crazy, but this is another dimension here. And if I could just get in better shape, then maybe I can get to that point. So for me, it's also a very physical thing where it's reaching a place you can reach mentally, physically. And it's just, plus it's just, I just love this stuff, It changed my life. From the first time I ever had experienced it was in '94 when I was in India for the first time, in Goa. My first Psytrance party was in Goa. Right. Before that, I was listening to like Nirvana, and that was my stuff, I had no clue. And my world changed completely. Yeah.
No, that's brilliant, mate. No, honestly, like that's one of the special things about it as well, because I feel like a lot of people don't really, no one really, when they go to their first party, they don't really know what to expect. So, like for me, I went alone to my first ever Psytrance party, and I only went there because I sort of was a bit interested in psychedelics kind of thing. and I was hoping to sort of meet some other people who were too. And when I got there, I did meet those people, but it was like you say, it's just something else, isn't it? But
Yeah.
so I've got another question for you. So how much money do you spend on pink paint per year?
Well, it's basically to do one performance costs about 30 euros for the pink, because I use Krylon professional. I should get paid as an advertiser for them, but I'm not. Krylon professional theater paint, and it's awesome because it breathes. It doesn't really, there's not much of a reaction to it. When I wash it off in hot water, there's still a little bit of a stain, so I have to use some soap. But it's the best paint. It's not like oil paint or something like that. It's made for theater. So I have to use a lot because I sweat it off. But yeah, one container about that big, this thick, that lasts me one performance. If it's a full-on performance, it's like 30 euro for one. And so how many times I do a performance in a year, that's what that equals.
Well, that was another question that I had for you as well. Was how many parties and festivals do you think you go to? Yeah.
How many do I missed the last part of the question.
Oh, sorry. I said how many parties and festivals do you go to per year?
Again, I missed it. You asked me every year, how many do I do in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can vary. I mean, I used to do too much because it takes me 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to recover after doing Mr. Pink, because I'll just physically push myself like it's even way beyond. I'm not even realizing it until the next day. I wake up like I feel like I did a triathlon. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. So I'm kind of doing less. I would say on average maybe 6 to 10 a year at this point, and I'm actually trying to even do, for me, every once a month would be enough because it's really, so it's hard in the summertime because, well, not this summer, but usually there's multiple festivals, and I try to keep 2 weeks in between each one because I want to give 100%, and I can't do it. I did it one time, I did 3 weeks in a row, and it killed me. I was just like, it's not possible. I don't have that kind of energy. So
psychological, like where you sort of interacting with it during time in between, or just physically because of all the dancing.
Well, it's both. It's physically, emotionally, because I do connect with so many people, and there's an emotional aspect to that because I really open myself up. So I have a lot of energies that I'm interacting with, and it can be physical too. I mean, one time it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I was so on this groove at Azora. I was 12 hours straight. 12 hours. Finally, like 11 p.m., I had a friend grab me like, "You have to stop." I was like, no. I had no off button, man. I had no way to, and thank God he stopped me because the next day I was like, I could barely walk, So it can be a combination, the physical part, but also the emotional thing. It's definitely, I really open myself up, so I'm really connecting with people deeply, and I want to be able to, if it's too much one after the other, I don't really incorporate what I learned or the experiences that I had. So for a couple of weeks, it's enough to really, it takes me a few days just to remember who I am, like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm Jovis, and I do Mr. Pink. And a few days later, I'm like, oh yeah, that experience was awesome. And I remember them all, but in a way it's weird. It's more like a spectator, like I'm watching myself interact, because literally Jovis isn't acting. I feel like our higher self is. My higher self is interacting with their higher self, and I'm just a witness. So yeah, in the end, it's a combination of everything. So I realized the best thing is minimum 2 weeks, and really the best would be once a month. That's not the easiest. It's been easy lately, but usually that's not too easy to do once a month. It usually turns out to be a couple times a month, and I can do that.
So interesting. So basically, what you're saying is it's almost like a form of meditation, isn't it? It's almost like...
Absolutely. You know what? I liken it to this way. I get to be the Buddha for 2-3 hours. I mean, really, I feel like it's totally the same energy. It's like I'm literally everybody. That's why I have so much energy too, because I'm tapping into universal energy, and I don't feel tired. I really don't. And also, people can pass me drinks, and I'm not usually a drinker actually. But Mr. Pink, I think it's important that I accept gifts. Yeah. No, I just drink. I don't get drunk. Nothing touch me. It's like, so I try to incorporate that into my daily life, but I'm lucky because for 2 or 3 hours at a time, when I do Mr. Pink, I'm literally like experiencing Buddhahood because there's no future, there's no past. I don't have a story. I don't have a drama. There's no Jovis there. I just awareness, just pure consciousness. And so I think people feel that. I'm just channeling pure consciousness, and that's why it's so. I think that's why it's become such a kind of phenomenon, because it's not. I'm not. It's not Jovis doing Mr. Pink. It's just the vehicle, and I just let that. I channel it, and I just let that channel. My job is to be in the best shape physically to deal with that energy, and I do that, take care of myself and stuff, because yeah, it's amazing. It really is. It's more than meditation. It really is just like being consciousness and just being aware. And there's no one there. All it is pure consciousness. It's amazing. And I feel really lucky that I somehow bumped into this thing.
And also, it's not only is it the meditation, but it's also fun. It's fun and cool as fuck at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's cooler than meditation, in my opinion. It's like,
laughter is great medicine, and I laugh so much. I mean, I can laugh so much that literally my ribs and my muscles in my stomach hurt after that performance, because I'm just like, it's pure joy. It really is. It's just like, and I mean, to me, that's what it is. It's almost like they call samadhi. It's just like this point of consciousness. It's not like ecstasy, like it being ecstatic. It's just pure contentment, where it's just pure joy. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to have been. There's no past, present. There's only right now. And when you're right in the now, and to be honest with you, I think that's why people will take mind-altering substances, because it makes you become very much in the now. You can look at a stick for an hour. Wow, my God, that's amazing. Why? Because there's no future and there's no past. So I tap into that same energy when I'm doing Mr. Pink. And I don't, just to have it said, I don't do anything. I might have some herb. I might smoke a little herb before I do it. But other than that, I don't do anything else, because I don't need to. Basically, I'm in the same place as if I did, And having done those stuff in the past, I know how to compare it, and I can say it's the same thing. It's just basically being 100% in the now for 2-3 hours, And it's amazing, really, for everybody. Not just for me. Yeah.
And you're giving, like you said, it's not just for you. You're sort of giving people joy, and that's a beautiful thing. Like
and they give it back to me. And like I tell people, the best way I put it is this way, because I had to deal with this thing of like fame, right? And it's funny because I have some musician friends who actually left doing music because they couldn't handle it. And I started to get that way too, because it was like people, they put you on a pedestal and like, oh my God, Mr. Pink. And then I realized, like, so I would basically do it this way. I would say, they'd be like, oh, Mr. Pink, you're just amazing. I say, hey, look. Well, what's your name? And they say, like, Mike. I said, okay, look, Mike, you know what? You're the best Mike that ever was. Like, I'm the best Jovis that ever was. And me being Jovis, part of what I do is Mr. Pink. Now, you do what you do the best, and together we create magic, because Mr. Pink doesn't work alone. So therefore, I give the energy that they're giving to me as Mr. Pink, as this image, and I give it back to them. I'm like, you're the rock star. We're all rock stars, and we put together. And without you, there is no Mr. Pink. So I can take this energy that people like really give a lot of that, and I can put it right back at them. It's like, actually, all this energy you're giving to me, give it to yourself, because you're the superstar. And then I can deal with this fame, because I don't take it personally. I don't feel as Jovis that I'm any better than anybody else. I just happen to bump into something. And the thing of it is, like, I realize I really feel that way. I'm the best Jovis ever, and I'm getting to be the best Jovis more every day. And I say everyone should look at themselves the same way, and don't put me as a different thing. You're doing the best that you can do, and together we can create this magic. So I can take this fame and like just put it back at you and say you're just as famous as me, because really without you, there is no Mr. Pink.
Honestly, I think it's genius, mate. Honestly, I really do, because I have that same kind of I have that same kind of view of life, to be honest with you, because I too was a musician, and I am a musician, and I think when you're performing on stage, it is very much about you, but you're kind of like holding on to things that don't really serve you. And so when I started doing the Trippingtons parties, it's not me, it's Tripping to the Imaginary Cat, and I'm just his handyman. I do the parties because Tripping to the Imaginary Cat told me to, kind of thing. And I feel like I can relate to a lot of what you just said, because with me and my friend Brian, we have this joke about being the master dons of the universe, but we're not really cooler than anyone else. We just say like we're all master dons of the universe and sexy because, like you just said, sort of thing. So yeah, I really respect your point of view. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, no, cool. Well, I've got some more questions for you, mate. So obviously with everything that's going on right now, the world has gone through quite an odd sort of time. What have you been doing with no festivals? Have you been bored, or have you been what have you been doing?
Well, I have this belief that there's no such thing as being bored. There's only boring people. Because there's always something to do. I'm never bored. I'm never bored. I miss performing. I really miss it because for me it's like a catharsis to get my energy. There's nothing like, as a musician, there's nothing quite like being in front of people on stage. I love it. I absolutely love it. I miss that. But I'm not bored because I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, when I first came here, I'm in North Carolina now. I'm staying. I came here actually because I was wanted to be with my family for Thanksgiving, and coincidentally, usually I'm in Goa in March and April, and I would have got stuck there. I would have got stuck there if I hadn't left early. I had a gig in LA in November, and I just decided to stay. So since I was here anyway, and things kind of to happen, like my sister wanted to remodel her basement, so I was like, yeah, I'll help out, So I started doing stuff and videoing all of it too. It's for Jovis TV, just like video everything, and then started to do like I made a few tracks, I'm trying to make this little movie studio, which is going to look like the inside of an alien spaceship that I'll do my music videos from.
Right.
I sculpt, I draw, I write. I'm writing a book called Behind the Pink, and it's basically my story because it's pretty interesting stuff there. My life's been interesting to say the least, leading up to what I'm doing now. So yeah, I mean, I keep quite busy. The only thing that I do miss social interaction. I am a people person, although I love being alone too. I go back and forth. Like I need my alone time, but then when I'm ready to come out, I really need to be around people. I'm missing social interaction. I'm missing performing, but I'm not bored. I'm also working on my big thing now is to do a Patreon page, which will be basically, I think, like $1 a month, and you'll get exclusive content, exclusive videos, and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm keeping busy, that's for sure. And I have so much. I love history. I read history books. There's so much to do in life. I wish I had 20 bodies to do all the stuff I wanted to do. So I'm not bored at all, but I am missing some stuff.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same as you. It is a blessing. Like the time that we have at the moment is actually quite a rare thing, isn't it? Like we've never really had this before, and we probably never will again. So it's an opportunity for everyone to sort of do those things that they wouldn't normally do. No, so also, okay, I've got another question for you, man. When you've been at a festival, has anyone ever recognised you when you're out of character as Mr. Pink?
Oh, you mean without pink on?
Yeah, has anyone seen you and be like, "Oh, are you Mr. Pink?"
Yeah, it happens a lot. That's what I was referring to when people come up. Oh, Mr. Pink, you're amazing. Usually that happens not when I'm Mr. Pink because I'm not talking to people, but when I'm just myself, they'll be like, "Hey, I get a weird question. Are you Mr. Pink?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." So it's happening. I've noticed it over the past couple of years. It's happening more and more, and that's when I was referring to the fame thing because that was happening in Goa. It's funny. My demographic, my number one fans are Indian men between 18 and 35. So I have huge Indian fan base. So in Goa, every time I go to a party, I actually had to realize that if I didn't want to be disturbed or talked to, I shouldn't go to a party because I have to. I'm always on the clock, basically. So I represent, Mr. Pink. So I can't be in a bad mood. Like if someone's like, "Hey, are you Mr. Pink?" I can't be like, "No, I don't want to talk right now." I hate that. It's like I'll tell you a story because for me, it's like I had this experience where I really loved this artist, this DJ. I won't say who he is, producer. Loved his music. And I saw him at a very small party in San Francisco. I mean, he was drinking, making bad mixes, everything. It was no big deal. It was like 30 people there. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you I love your music." And he looked at me like, "Who the hell are you talking to me?" And I felt I never could listen to his music again without thinking of, that guy's a jerk, man. So for me, it's like if I'm not in this headspace to be social and at least civil to people, then I don't go out at parties because I can't be. I have to be at least like, even if I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Mr. Pink, but I'm dancing right now. Maybe we could talk later." Just be nice. That's all. Yeah. And so but sometimes I'm not in the mood for that. Sometimes I just don't want to talk to people, because I just want to have my alone time. Then I don't go to a party because I know it's like I'm always on the clock. I'm representing something way bigger than me. And Jovis having a bad day is not going to connect. I'm not going to do that to my fans, because they'll always look at Mr. Pink like, "God, that guy, Mr. Pink, I love it. That guy Jovis is a bit of a jerk, Like I can never see myself being that way. And that lesson I learned from that DJ was like, you're always on the clock. I'm a public figure, always. even if I'm not in pink. So I'm representing everything I'm doing, and I never want to give anybody that feeling that, you know, that they're worth anything less than they are, which is a lot. So for me, it's always very important to be in the right headspace. So yeah, there's those times when I don't really feel like I can deal with that. So I'm like, okay, better I don't go to the party, you know, because it's okay. I mean, there's plenty, used to be plenty of parties. There's always more. And so, yeah, I'm very much aware that I'm a public figure, and it happens more and more frequency when people recognize me. And what's interesting for me now is we're starting to get outside of the Psytrance scene, which is really cool. So Mr. Pink's starting to poke his head out into the general mainstream a bit. And that to me is awesome.
So, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but are you monetizing it?
I'm sorry?
I hope you don't mind me asking this, but I was going to ask, have you monetized it at all so far? Like, have you making money?
I have to a certain degree. When I started, it was like anything else. You know, you give a lot of value, and that's what I do. So I used to do it totally for free. I pay for my own ticket to the festival. And then it turned into a thing where I was like, hey, can I get a ticket? And then it's a, hey, can I get a ticket and some money? And then, yeah. And then, hey, can I get some ticket, money, and flight? And I said, yeah. And it's built up. Yeah, it's like I don't do enough of those a year totally to take care of my financial needs. My music gigs were more. I do a lot more music gigs, even though I'm not as well known. And that was my primary source of my income. Was my music gigs.
Oh, right. And that's quite impressive.
What's that?
Even that's quite inspirational, because a lot of people are miserable.
Yeah. Having said that, I was living in India 6 months a year, and my costs were kind of low. But still, it hit that point maybe 2-3 years ago where I just had to do, you know, through Mr. Pink performances and Psytrance, and also have chill out projects. So I play chill out also. My music, Mr. Pink, was basically taking care of stuff. And so that's now why I'm trying to get my Patreon page going, because, yeah, there's no gigs. And I still want to be able to do what I do, but I want to give people like a lot of exclusive stuff that no one else gets. And the way I look at it, I follow a few people on Patreon, and when it's $1, $2 a month, I'm like, yeah, sure, you know, why not? I can see that. You know, I'll have other tiers that offer more, but the basic level for me should be less than a cup of coffee a month, and you get cool stuff, you know. And I hope to build that up to where I can be more selective when it starts to be time for the gigs come back again. I like I said, I want to dial back. I mean, I feel young, but I am 57 years old. You know, so Mr. Pink is like, I never do like, huh?
I said, please never retire.
I will never retire, but I will definitely do less per year. But I can't. I'll be 90 years old. The good thing about pink paint, it hides the wrinkles, you know. So.
Well, yeah, I wish you the best of luck. But I think with the book, the book would probably be fascinating. Like, I can imagine a lot of people. Like, I'll definitely, if you release the book, I'll definitely read it myself, and a lot of my friends would. So like things like that, you could definitely build the brand into like something. And I don't think the money is a bad thing. I think it's kind of like an exchange of energy, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and I like to give a lot of stuff, way more than, you know, what you think even. I want to give above and beyond, and then get something. Like, I don't like to. Yeah, I like to give more than I get, really. I feel good about it because I feel I offer a lot of stuff, and then, you know, also I could do classic merchandise. I have a nice Mr. Pink T-shirt design that I've been meaning to launch. The problem is I have so many things I want to do as an artist, and I'm very artistically minded. Sometimes it's hard for me to sit down and do the nitty gritty, you know, the website and this stuff and the mailing list, and it's like, I'm too busy making stuff. So that's a good thing now is that. What's that?
I was just going to say, yeah, business partners, get someone to deal with all the bullshit while you deal with the stuff.
I put it out there to the universe. I'd love to have someone take care of all the business stuff. I give them a great cut, and then I just do what I do. I'm a content creator, you know. I just create stuff, and yeah, we'll see. But in the meantime, I have to handle it myself. So yeah, it's a new world, and like I said, I'll always perform. I never want to give that up until they put me in a wheelchair or something. Even that I probably would. You know, I'm not going to stop. Yeah, I'm in no hurry to do that.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I hope to continue the festivals. Okay, I've got one. This is my last question for you, man. So Psytrance is growing more and more popular all the time. Do you believe that it could take over or / save the world?
I personally think it's already safe. Yeah, the more people, because the places that I go to when I'm dancing, forget Mr. Pink and everything, as a person, Jovis, it's pure joy, man. And you feel that moment of like, man, if I could live my life every minute like this, and all these people at this party dancing with each other, you know, when a party's really gelling, you see it's really like an organism, you know, and everyone's dancing together and stuff. And to me, it's a great metaphor of the way the world could be. So I totally think, yeah, I mean, there's other things I could say to the world too, but this is close to my heart. And I think absolutely, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you connect to it, it's a great vehicle for world peace. I really believe it. Because I see parties, it's like nationalities don't matter at all. You know, you have people that are like from Russia, Israel, Syria, Lebanon. I'm like, everyone's dancing together, man. Like, they don't care about nationality and stuff like that. So for me, that's what it really represents, because it's a global scene too.
Yeah,
it's outdoors. It has some ingredients that other scenes don't have. So yeah, I totally believe it.
No, I agree with you, to be honest. It's just a complete gift, and like you said, it's completely timeless. And nationality, it's just fucking amazing in every single way. Like, and it's not just good for you, but it's also cool as fuck. Like, it's brilliant. Like, you have the best fucking time. You have a great time there. Do you know what I mean?
You know, you don't want it to end. It's like I want to stay here forever. You know, like, I feel so good. Everyone's so friendly. No one's wearing. The thing of it is, what I think happens at a Psytrance party, and I see this at other events. Burning Man would be the closest analogy, because at Burning Man you're there for a week, and you're on the desert, and it just beats you down. So it beats you down to the point in a good way, because it beats you down. You don't have energy for a mask. You know, at the end of that thing, it's like, here I am, warts and all. You know, I don't have energy to put any kind of like facade. And that's what I love about it. So toward the end of a festival, everyone's really who they are. You know, they don't have time to be like, I don't have the energy to be, oh, look at me. This is, nah, here I am.
Yeah, no stick about it. Oh, absolutely. But I've never been to Burning Man, but I went to Sci-Fi, and that's like 6 days. And I even got what you just said about, I got that same sort of impression that even after 6 days of dancing, you're like, fuck it, yeah, I'm just going to dance with my friends and stuff like that. It's like,
you don't have energy. You don't. In the beginning, you see the difference. I see. That's why I like a multi-day festival rather than one party, because that's what happens after 3-4 days. You know, you just don't have the energy to put some fake thing. You know, like who you thought you were. No, here you are. You know, and then you realize, as you're being just you, people still like you. Guess what? You don't need to wear a mask. Just be yourself, you know? And I think that's the greatest lesson anybody can learn, because it takes so much energy to walk around trying to be someone you're not, you know? And you realize that at a Psytrance party, toward the end of it, people are just who they are, and they're all realizing like, wow, people are still friendly and everything. I guess I'm not such a bad person. I don't need to wear a mask. Exactly. Don't wear a mask. You know, be yourself. You're 100% unique. No one else like you. And that's, again, the message of Mr. Pink. It's like, no one's like you. You're the best you ever, you know, and be proud of that. And so I think that happens at the end of a Psytrance party, just like Burning Man. I just put the analogy because it's the physicality of it. Because Burning Man is not so much about the dancing; it's just about being in the desert. You know? But Psytrance is about dancing. It just physically wears you down to where you don't have any more energy to be someone you're not. You're just you, and that's awesome.
and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, well, nice one, mate. I'm really pleasure to have had this chat with you.
Yeah.
And, is there anything that you would want to say to anyone watching this? Any last sort of closing comments you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying it the whole time, but really, really, I mean, 100%. Just be yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. You know, as a public figure, I have a fair amount of, there's haters. You know, haters are going to hate. And at first I would take it personally, but I realized like you're never going to make some people happy. So don't bother trying. You know, really, if you could just, and it's not as easy as it seems to be genuine, actually, because the world we live in kind of teaches us otherwise. So my number one advice, and I feel that with Mr. Pink, it's like people are, oh, wow, no one could be more crazy than Mr. Pink, so I can be as crazy as I want. Yeah, you can, but guess what? You don't need Mr. Pink to let you feel that way. Dance like no one's watching always. You know, just be who you are and embrace your weirdness and embrace your uniqueness. That's it.
Sorry, I was just going to add to what you said. When you said dance like everyone's watching, I'd say dance like everyone's watching.
I missed that part.
Oh, sorry. Where you said dance like no one's watching, I would say dance like everyone's watching, kind of thing.
It goes both ways, you know. I mean, as a performer, I need people watching me because they're propelling me. Even if I'm not Mr. Pink and I'm dancing, I can feel when people are watching. I'm becoming part of their thing. So in one way, yeah. But I know some people, some people are shy and that maybe not their thing. So in the end, I kind of like, if you can dance like no one's watching, then you're not feeling judged, you know. And if you can get to the point where you dance like everyone's watching and you don't care, it's the same feeling. But maybe it takes some time to get to that point. I feel like myself, like both, you know, like I mean, I do stuff like, can you, why? He's on the floor rolling around. Yeah, I just have one rule. It's two rules. If you're not hurting yourself and if you're not hurting anybody else, it's allowed. That's it. It's easy. You know, if you're rolling around on the dance floor, it's great. If you start eating grass on the dance floor, maybe I might say something. You know, that's the way I look at it. If you're not hurting yourself, anybody else, do what you want. Really, it's open game. Like have fun. You know, literally, just have fun. Be yourself. Don't worry about what people think about you. There's always going to be people who don't like you. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. What I find, most people love you. You know, they love you for yourself. And there's always going to be that 5% of people that don't matter what you do, man. They're going to find some fault in it. Hey, you know what? Bless them. Go have some fun. But it doesn't bother me because I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I say that to everyone else. Like, really, that's the great lesson I've learned is like, be genuine because you feel more whole and you also give more to the world. You know? And so it's going to heal everybody. If everyone in this world was genuine, we'd be in a very amazing world right now. People tend to, you know, actually worry too much about what other people think, what other people say about them. Don't, you know, just be yourself. That's it.
No, nice one. But yeah, mate, honestly, you've got the right idea, in my opinion. I think you know the crack to be honest.
There's definitely a philosophy behind it. You know, after 20 years doing it. Yeah.
No, nice one. Honestly, it's been great to speak to you, man. And hey, I wish you the best of luck with everything. And I'll keep in touch with you after this because I'll definitely want to sort of hear your music and read your book and stuff like that. But yeah, nice one. To anyone who's watching this, I wish you the best possible day, and I hope you do everything that brings you joy, guys. And there'll be more interviews of more legends soon.
Awesome. Ciao.